Hey there, little adventurers, and big ones too. Welcome back to Storytime in Tiny Tales Land, where every story is a tiny spark of magic. I'm Pixie, your storyteller, and today I've got 7 short but mighty tales just for you. Each one is packed with adventure, laughter, and a little lesson to tuck into your heart. So, get comfy, snuggle up, and let's jump into our first story. This one's about a daring little flying fox named Max, and a wobbly perch that put his courage to the test. Ready? Here we go. Max, the flying fox, loved soaring high, gliding over Tinytales Land with the wind in his fur. But one day, as he swooped down, he landed on a wobbly branch. Uh-oh! It shook and swayed, and Max's tummy did a nervous flip. His wings twitched. Maybe I should just jump off and fly away, he thought. But then he remembered, being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means trying anyway. Max took a deep breath. He steadied himself, spread his wings, and leapt. Whoosh! He glided perfectly. Max grinned. I did it! He cheered. Courage wasn't about never feeling scared. It was about flying through the fear. And just like that, Max learned a little courage goes a long way. But speaking of lessons, our next story is about someone who loves to play. But maybe not so much when it's time to clean up. Sound familiar? Let's find out what happened to Coco the kitten. Coco the kitten loved to play. She bounced, she pounced, she tumbled, but she never put her toys away. Her little nest was turning into a mountain of mess. One day, she wanted her favorite ball of yarn, but it was gone. She dug through toy mice, jingling bells, and squishy cushions. No yarn. I'll clean later, she mumbled. But later never came, and now, no space to nap. Finally, she sighed and started tidying up, one toy at a time. When she finished, her nest was cozy and perfect. Coco purred, curling up. Taking care of things felt just as nice as playing. And just like that, Coco discovered that a tidy space makes for a happy place. But now, let's visit someone who's not so great at waiting. Our next story is about Leafy, a little bunny with big excitement, but not so much patience. Let's hop over to her garden and see what happens. Leafy the bunny was so excited. She had planted a tiny seed in her garden and couldn't wait for it to grow. She checked it, nothing. 5 minutes later, still nothing. Leafy huffed. Why isn't it growing? This is taking forever. Frustrated, she almost gave up. But then, Alderwise the ancient oak rumbled gently. Good things take time, little one. So Leafy waited and waited, and then a tiny green sprout peeked out. Leafy clapped her paws. Waiting was worth it. She had learned that patience helps beautiful things grow. And just like that, Leafy learned that some things take time, but they're always worth the wait. Speaking of waiting, Scooter the squirrel has been carrying a little secret, but it's making his tail twitch with guilt. Let's find out what happens next in Scooter and the double acorn mix-up. Scooter the squirrel loved acorns. So, when he spotted 2 extra ones in Barnaby's picnic basket, he thought, oops, I took them by mistake, but Barnaby has so many, he won't miss them. But as Scooter munched on his snack, his tummy felt funny. Not from the acorns, but from guilt. What if Barnaby needed them? What if he was hungry? Finally, Scooter scurried back and placed the acorns in Barnaby's basket. Barnaby chuckled. I had extra, but thank you for being honest, Scooter. Scooter grinned. His tummy felt light as a feather, because telling the truth always feels best. Looks like Scooter learned that being honest feels even better than a belly full of acorns. Now, let's visit someone who's been puzzling over a tricky problem. Jasper the owl has found an ancient riddle, but solving it isn't as easy as he thought. Let's see what happens in Jasper and the Stubborn Puzzle. Jasper the Owl loved riddles, but this one, it was impossible. He read it again and again. Nothing made sense. Maybe I'm just not smart enough, he sighed, but then he remembered. Giving up never solved anything. So Jasper kept thinking. He tried new ideas. He scribbled notes. He even read the riddle backward. And then, click, the answer popped into his head. I did it, Jasper hooted. Solving the puzzle wasn't about being the smartest. It was about never giving up. Jasper discovered that sticking with a challenge is the best way to solve it. Now, let's check in with someone else who's facing a different kind of problem. Ahmed the raccoon. His cart keeps getting stuck in the mud, but instead of giving up, he's about to get really creative. Let's see what happens in Ahmed and the cranky cart. Ahmed loved building things, but today, his cart wouldn't budge. Every time he tried to roll it forward, splat! Stuck in the mud. Ahmed scratched his head. Maybe I need bigger wheels, or bouncier ones. He grabbed some soft pillows and strapped them to the wheels. Here goes nothing. Ahmed pushed the cart, and whoosh, it rolled perfectly. He grinned. Being creative can fix any problem. Ahmed showed us that thinking outside the box can solve even the trickiest problems. Now, let's visit someone who's about to learn an important lesson. Willow the Wise Frog. He may be small, but he's about to prove that wisdom is more than just knowing things. It's about helping others too. Let's hop into our final story, Willow and the Lost Firefly. One evening, as the stars twinkled above Tinytales Pond, a tiny firefly fluttered near Willow the Wise Frog. I'm lost, the firefly buzzed sadly. I can't find my family. Willow thought for a moment. Fireflies glow the brightest when they're together. Try blinking your light 3 times. The firefly blinked once, twice, 3 times. Suddenly, twinkle, tiny lights flickered in the distance. His family. Thank you, Willow, the firefly cheered as he zipped toward the glowing swarm. Willow smiled. Wisdom isn't just knowing things, it's using what you know to help others. And there we have it, 7 tiny tales, each with a big lesson to remember. From courage to creativity, and even a little wisdom, there's always something new to learn in Tiny Tales Land. Did one of these stories make you smile? Give a big thumbs up. And if you want to hear more magical tales, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an adventure. Until next time, keep imagining, keep learning, and keep having fun. See you soon. Hey there, adventurers! Welcome back to Tiny Tales Land, the place where magic, mischief, and little lessons come to life. I'm Pixie, your storyteller, and today, I have not just 1, not 2, but 7 super short, super fun stories just for you. Buckle up, because each one is filled with surprises, laughter, and little lessons that make us all a tiny bit wiser. Are you ready? All right, our first tale is about a tiny turtle with a big challenge. Let's go! Once upon a time in Tiny Tales Land, a teeny tiny turtle stood at the edge of a shaky wooden bridge. On the other side, a meadow filled with the juiciest, greenest leaves he had ever seen. But the bridge, it wobbled, it creaked, and it looked so far across. The big animals marched across without a second thought. Thump, thump, thump. But the little turtle? His legs wobbled, his heart thumped. He was too scared to take a step. I can't do it, he whispered. Then a thought. Bravery isn't about being fearless. It's about trying even when you're scared. So he took one step, then another, and another. The bridge swayed, the wind whooshed, but he kept going, and before he knew it, plop, he landed safely on the other side. He did it! He was braver than he ever thought. Whew, that was a close one. But tell me, what do you think? Was he brave? Would you have crossed that bridge? Well, our next story is about someone who wasn't quite as prepared. Meet the most forgetful little squirrel in Tinytales Land. Deep in Tinytales Land, a little squirrel named Niblet had one important job, gathering acorns for the winter. And oh, she started off great. She scurried up trees, tucked acorns into hidden spots, and oh, that cloud looks like a bunny. Wait, where was she again? Niblet giggled, jumped from branch to branch, and whoosh! She forgot every single hiding spot. Then winter came. Snow covered the ground. Niblet shivered. Where were her acorns? She dug and dug. Nothing, not even one nut. She felt so silly. I should have paid attention, she sighed. But wait! A familiar lump under the snow. Aha! One of her hidden spots. She found a few acorns after all. And next year, she promised herself she'd be way more careful. Phew! Good thing she remembered something, right? Have you ever forgotten where you put something important? Maybe your favorite toy. Well, speaking of waiting, our next Tiny Tales friend is someone who really doesn't like to wait. Meet the impatient caterpillar. In the heart of Tinytales Land, a little caterpillar named Wiggles wiggled with excitement. Today's the day. Today, I turn into a butterfly. He spun his cocoon and waited for 5 whole minutes. Then, wiggle, wiggle, he peeked out. Nothing. No wings, no sparkles, just darkness. Oh, this is taking forever, he groaned. He wriggled, tapped, sighed, huffed, but nothing made time move faster. Days passed. Then, crack, his cocoon split open. Whoa, bright wings unfolded. He flapped once, then twice, then whoosh, he soared into the sky. Oh, so good things really do take time, he laughed, fluttering high above Tinytales Land. Wow, Wiggles learned an important lesson, huh? Have you ever had to wait for something special? A birthday? A surprise? It's hard, but oh, so worth it. Now, speaking of things that spread fast, our next story is about a parrot who learns that not everything you hear should be repeated. Meet the truthful parrot. High up in a mango tree, a chatty parrot named Rico fluffed his feathers. He loved a good story, especially a juicy one. One day, he heard a monkey whisper, "The elephants are painting themselves purple." "Purple elephants?" Rico squawked. That was too funny not to share. So he flapped through Tinytales Land, telling everyone, "Purple elephants! Purple elephants!" The animals gasped, but when they rushed to see, normal, grey elephants standing there, very not purple. "Rico, where did you hear that?" the elephants asked. Rico gulped. Uh-oh, I never checked if it was true. He felt awful and promised, "Next time I'll only share what I know is true." Yikes! Ever heard something that wasn't true? It can really cause a mess, huh? Rico learned that honesty isn't just about telling the truth, it's about checking the truth before we tell. Now, speaking of trying again and again, our next story is about a tiny spider who never, ever gives up. Meet the determined spider. In a quiet corner of Tinytales Land, a little spider named Spinner worked so hard on his web. Thread by thread, he spun the perfect design until, whoosh, the wind tore it apart. "No!" Spinner groaned, but he shook off the dust and started again. Thread by thread, whoosh! The wind ripped it down again. "Ugh, maybe I should just quit," he huffed. But then he thought, "No, I'll keep going." So he spun, tighter, stronger, and this time the web held. By sunrise, It sparkled in the light, the strongest, most beautiful web in Tiny Tales Land. "I did it!" Spinner cheered. "Hard work always pays off." "Whoa, that little spider never gave up. Have you ever had to try something again and again until you got it right? That's what makes us stronger." And speaking of helping out, our next story is about a tiny firefly who proves that even small acts of kindness can light up the world. Meet the helpful firefly. Deep in the forest of Tiny Tales Land, a tiny firefly named Flicker blinked awake. "Tonight, I want to do something important," she buzzed. As she zipped through the trees, she spotted a group of lost animals, a rabbit, a hedgehog, and a sleepy owl, all wandering in the dark. "We can't see the path home," the rabbit whimpered. Flicker's light glowed. "I can help," she chirped. She zipped ahead, blinking her little light left, right through the trees until, hooray, the animals made it home. "Thank you, Flicker," they cheered. She beamed. Even a little light can make a big difference. Wow! Flicker's tiny light helped so much. That's the power of kindness. Even small actions matter. And speaking of smart thinking, our last story is about a clever crow who finds a very creative way to solve a problem. Ready? Meet the clever crow. On a scorching day in Tiny Tales Land, a thirsty crow named Cleverbeak spotted a tall jar of water. Aha, a drink! But, uh-oh, the water was too low. His beak couldn't reach. He pecked, he tipped, he pushed. Nothing worked. Then, ding, an idea. What if I... He grabbed a tiny stone and plop, dropped it in, then another. Plop, plop. The water rose. He dropped more and more stones until, yes, the water was high enough to drink. Woohoo! Thinking outside the box works! Cleverbeak cheered, taking the best sip ever. Whoa! That crow was one smart cookie. Have you ever solved a problem in a creative way? Thinking outside the box can turn any challenge into a win. And speaking of wins, we just heard 7 awesome stories. Did you have a favorite? Maybe the brave turtle or the helpful firefly? Oh, I'd love to know. If you had fun, give a big thumbs up, just like the determined spider's web, strong and awesome. And don't forget to subscribe so you can join me, Pixie, for more magical stories in Tiny Tales Land. See you next time, storytellers. Keep being brave, kind, and oh so clever.